Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my channel, the channel where I strive to make the world a better place, one video at a time. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is, let's discuss how some people prioritize marijuana and other drugs over the everyday needs of life. I'm not going to be talking too much about like drugs and, drugs per se, or in detail, but today I'm really going to be talking about why this particular subject is so very important. This is almost really highlighting finances more so than getting help for drugs. But there's definitely a big part about it, but that it dives way deeper than what I'm gonna go into today. But as one of the things here is to get help for the things I write down here. Is to get help for this particular situation that you may be going through, or somebody you know with wrongfully prioritizing your priorities. But seeking help, I mean, that's a whole subject in itself, and that's something really to dive deep in, and something that a video I'm going to have to make. But I'm just going to briefly hit on some things here and really highlight why it's so important. Why it's so important here. So, the first thing, we're just going to discuss what I mean by the title here. Well, I know people personally, and I've heard of people, know people personally, people that I know personally, know of people personally. Lots of people who are deciding to prioritize their marijuana usage or drug usage. Really want to talk about marijuana usage, but there's other things that people, vapes, and I'm not talking about the hard drugs, right? So maybe I shouldn't name it drugs per se, but I'm really not talking about the hard drugs. I'm really talking about, marijuana and vaping and, maybe cigarettes, nicotine and whatnot. Not really talking about the heroin and that. Like I said, that those dive way deeper, right? And I have to make a separate video about those. But yes, mainly talking about marijuana and like I said, vaping as well. I mean, that's another one. But I'm really not going to be diving into those, not giving my views on those. I mean, I have my personal views on those, and everybody does. But I'm talking about, I think everyone could agree that you should not prioritize those things over certain other things in life, especially when you have children and whatnot. And I've literally seen it by people that I know personally that will literally prioritize their usage of weed or vaping or cigarettes or whatever over the fact that they have needs for their children or needs for their livelihood, needs for their house, right? They would literally see people that rather would buy the marijuana than to pay the light bill, pay the marijuana than to rather, pay their gas bill, pay for marijuana rather than get diapers for their children, pay for marijuana rather than to put gas in our car, right? You buying the wrong gas, right? You're putting that gas, you're smoking that gas, but you don't have enough to put in your car for you to get to work, to even make money, for you to even get marijuana for the next. The priorities, though, it doesn't even make sense when you think about it. But priorities of certain people are just altogether messed up. And I've literally seen it. I've literally seen it with my own eyes. And it's like, you're going to choose to use that and to put, but it's because they are so attached to that thing, and they literally can't be sane and survive without it. So that's why, so they would rather put that in themselves over their children, or put that in themselves over paying their light bill so they can have electricity. But it's like, you have to reason with yourself and really reason with the situation and say, what's more important? this particular thing that I can smoke for my body, or vaping or whatever, or cigarettes, whatever the case may be, whichever one you do, or someone that does. But you have to really ask yourself or ask them and really reason with the situation and say, what's more important? It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but when you're in these situations, it actually makes sense because you feel like you cannot live without it. But let me tell you something right now, it is an issue if you feel like that you cannot live without certain things like alcohol or marijuana or vaping or cigarettes. It is an issue if you cannot live without it. You know what that's called? That's called an addiction. And those kinds of addictions are never good for anyone. No matter what the research is on some of these things like marijuana, whatever, too much of anything like that stuff, alcohol, marijuana, vaping, drugs, too much of it is going to ruin some part of your life. It may not be physical, the research might not say physical, but if you're addicted to it, it's probably going to ruin your financial. It's probably going to ruin your mental health, right? So there's going to be some area of your life that's affected. And like today, we're really talking about the financial side. People would literally rather choose that than put food on the table. They starving, but then smoking weed. Starving, but then vaping. Don't even have food in the house, but choosing that rather than the necessities of life. So we really want to dive into this now, and I'm almost finished. I'm not going to hold you too long, but just really want to discuss this because this is a major subject for me. Because I know people personally and I'm very passionate about this because this is huge in our nation. One thing that a lot of people struggle with is finances in our nation, credit scores, finances, saving up money and prioritizing their money right. This is huge for our society, and this is one of the reasons why, because people's priorities are messed up. So we talked about the basis here of the subject. Now I want to talk about 3 things that you can do to really help out with this situation. 1, you have to realize that what you're doing is wrong. You cannot make a change unless you realize what you're doing is wrong. If you think what you're doing is right or okay, why are you going to change it, right? You have to realize it's wrong. Now, it is wrong. It is wrong to choose to smoke marijuana or vape or, smoke cigarettes, rather than paying for the necessities of life, right? The necessities are literally what they are. They're necessities. You cannot move on without them, right? Something very terrible can happen if you don't have the necessities in life. You don't have water, well, you're not going to survive. You don't have food, well, you're going to starve, right? Your body's not going to grow properly, right? You're not taking care of your body correctly, right? You don't put gas in your car, well, you can't go to work, right? You don't pay a gas bill, well, you're going to be cold in the winter. You're going to get sick, right? You don't pay an electric bill, well, you might have kids, or maybe it's a tripping hazard. You can't see, you fell down, so your child falls down the stairs, busts his head open or something like that. All kinds of things that can happen because you're not taking care of the necessities of life. You want to realize it's wrong. It's wrong when you are choosing to put your wants over the needs of life, okay? 2, you have to seek help. Like I said, you may think, oh, weed is a need. Oh, marijuana is a need. Oh, excuse me, I said the same thing. We used 2 different names. I mean, vaping is a need, or cigarettes is a need, right? You may think that, but when those kinds of things get to a point where it's a need, something is wrong and you need to seek help. Because like I said, it's going to affect one area of your life, if not more. When something negatively affects an area of your life, there's probably something that you need to seek help for, right? So seek help for it. It may be a friend, it may be a family member, it may be a counselor. It don't gotta be no person who has a degree or has an office, a counseling office. It don't gotta be that. It could be just a friend, somebody who's been there before but then got clean. Somebody who's been there before but then realized that they needed to stop, using these kinds of, if you want to call them drugs. I mean, some people, that's debatable, but, using these things that you smoke, right? And maybe they don't do it as much now. Maybe they still do it not as much. Maybe before they didn't take care of necessities of life, but maybe they do now, and then they do it on an occasion, right? Talk to somebody like that. Talk to somebody who's been there before. Watch YouTube videos of people that's been there before. There's YouTube videos on all kind of stuff, right? Watch listen to people, like I said, who have been there before, right? Get help from family members, get help from friends, get help from counselors, right? You need to seek help. Do research on it. What does that stuff do to your body when it's overly used, excessively used? Do research on that stuff, and really, seek help. Really seek help. But number one is very important. You got to realize it's wrong. 2 comes easier, you seek help. First step is always the hardest. 2 comes easier, you seek help. Because when you realize something's wrong, you're going to do everything you can to fix it. So realize it's wrong, seek help. And then 3rd, finally, get knowledge on how to have a healthy financial life. So you may seek help and get all the help you need. Boom, you're ready to make a change. Well, now you got to get knowledge, right? So you may have a teacher, a financial teacher, or maybe somebody who has a firm or something like that. I don't know. But you may have somebody personally. I know people I know personally. They can teach me about finances, right? So like, okay, if you really, if you want to abstain from smoking a lot of that stuff a lot, okay, set aside $20 here, right? First off, we're going to set aside money for your bills and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to touch that. I'm going to keep that. Have somebody actually keep your money when you get paid, right? I know people that done that, right? Until you can take over and become responsible enough, right? Or put it in a separate bank account. Don't even touch it. That's for my bills, right? Then whatever I have left over here, that 20 or 30, that's what I'm going to use for the fun, right? I'm going to go out, drink. I'm going to go out and smoke this or smoke that, buy this or buy, you know what I mean? But you have to have your priorities. First, you want to take care of the necessities. Then you want to go and have fun, right? Because like I said, weed and vaping and cigarettes and all that kind of stuff, whichever you do, it should not be a necessity in life for you to actually be able to, live, right? That should be a fun, unfortunately it's not for a lot of people, but that's what it should be, right? Those kinds of things are not designed for you to be, doing every day, because it's going to affect the area of your life negatively. I guarantee it, right? So you want to take care of those necessities first, then chase after the wants, and make sure you prioritize your money correctly and get a mentor to be able to do that for you. So that is the topic for today. I hope it was a blessing. Hope you learned something from it. Please like this video. Please comment any thoughts you have. Please subscribe. Please turn on post notifications so you can be notified anytime I drop a video. Thanks for watching the Tiny's Dean Bear podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.